So, hello everyone. Today we have Sourav from UIUC, and he is going to present his joint work with Link on BLS threshold signatures. I will let him speak.
Okay, hi. Thank you everyone for coming. Today I'll talk about one of our recent work to prove something called adaptive security of BLS threshold signatures from standard assumption, DDH and co-CDH. So let's get this joint over today. So this is a shorter talk, much shorter talk. So feel free to interrupt and we can stop anyway. The parts are very modular. So this will be the outline. So I will start with the problem definition. I won't assume any background except the bilingual. And we'll talk about BLS threshold signatures, what they are. And then give you the adaptive security proof with the idealized description. Good to see you. Sorry to interrupt. And yeah, just this is the first slide. So then I'll talk about adaptive security with how distributed key generation and talk about some of the evaluation results. Okay, so what are threshold signatures? This is introduced very old in the 90s. These are parameterized by N and T. So N is the number of signers that we have, and T is some threshold. And each signer will have a signing key. And the collective goal is to sign a message, where each signer will compute something called partial signature. These are sigma i's, and will send it to an untrusted aggregator. Untrusted aggregator somehow takes these messages, take these partial signatures, and will combine to form a signature sigma, which will convince the verifier that at least T plus 1 out of n signers signed the message. Okay, this is basic definition of threshold signature.
Quick questions?
Yes.
So go to the So for each sigma one, like each sigma I, can the verifier verify it is signed by some person?
So the final the interface for final verifier, we don't want the verifier to know what's happening behind. So the verifier should be you are asking whether the verifier can identify who all signed?
No, it's like suppose the verifier get like a sigma I, just like one piece.
One piece can be usually verified.
Oh.
If you have some auxiliary information like threshold public keys. If you have some additional information, hold on to your question, things will be very clear in a couple of slides. Yes.
I don't have a question. Okay. And the aggregation is public operation?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll define this is just a previous. Yeah. Good. Do they have any applications like certifying authorities? Consensus proofs are widely used. Threshold peak. So anywhere you have authenticated aggregation that you want, and probably many more. Threshold signatures have been studied for a long time. So threshold signatures are typically built using something called threshold secret sharing, which I'm assuming all of you already know. So we get parameterized by N and P. Now here we have a secret S, and the goal is to divide the secret into n chunks or n parts, such that any subset of P plus 1 or more you can use them to reveal the secret, or T or less doesn't reveal anything about the secret. These are basics, but very important for this stuff. So an example of secret sharing is this classic example of secret sharing that you have seen, where what we do, we embed the secret as a constant term of the low degree polynomial. Each share is one evaluation point on the polynomial. So each party, you can imagine each party gets one evaluation. It's easy to see. If the polynomial degree is T, then T plus 1 points are sufficient to reconstruct the whole polynomial and hence the constant term as well. Okay, any questions? Good. The threshold signatures is summary secret sharing methods are known. From the early 2000, here the basic idea, the signing key will be secret shared using the Shami secret share. And by the properties of secret sharing, you get that any T plus 1 signers will be able to recover. T or less will learn nothing about the secret and also cannot forge the signature. Okay. So these are just some notational basics, the history. The threshold signatures are important. So this is trying to standardize threshold cryptography in general. They also are trying to standardize threshold signatures in two categories. One is the basic things that are already standardized. They also have advanced call for like threshold friendly scheme. And if you look at these properties, these are exactly the properties that BLS satisfies. They could not write BLS because that would be very prioritizing BLS, but they say they want sustained, verifiable and deterministic. Also, these get threshold friendly, which is kind of different term for nomenclature, I would say. Okay, so they
all these properties make it easy to thresholdize a signature scheme.
yeah. Good. So we'll now completely look at Boldyreva's BLS threshold signature scheme. So let's look at the BLS signatures. This is the non-threshold variant that I'll describe. This uses bilinear variants. The key generation, so we have a secret key, which is a field element from a large field. Randomly sampled field element. Public key is G raised to S. And to sign a message, it's very simple. You hash the message and raise it to your signing key. Okay. Now we have your fancy happening here, the verification. We verify with access to the public key, validates the signature just using this two bilinear pairing operation. So why this box? If you know bilinear pairing operation, the left hand side here, it's just pairing of G with half of the message raised to S, because we can move the G to the S from the public key to outside. And also the right hand side, if sigma is the valid signature, it's you the signature. Okay.
So G is also public.
G is a public parameter. It's a generator of elliptic curve with hard CDH. For security, this scheme relies on hardness of computational diffusion in the random variable form. So this hash function, we need to model this as a random variable. Okay, any questions on this? So now we'll look at how to thresholdize the scheme. Cannot remove the OK, but that's fine. So how to thresholdize the scheme? So parties need to start with a key generation algorithm, where they run this key generation algorithm parameterized by N and P. And the key gen outputs a signing key and a public key and some threshold public keys. So every party will get a signing key and will get the same common information. And the signing keys are Shami shares of a random secret that nobody knows. Okay, and public key is defined as follows. This threshold public keys are Z raised to individual secrets. So coming back to the question, to verify individual signatures, you need this threshold public keys.
Because for each share, you can just build it as a standard BLS.
Yes, you can treat them as individual standard BLS. Okay.
The keygen algorithm is this distributed algorithm or a trusted third party?
You can assume it's a third party, or you can also use something called distributed key generation. There's this classic work of Gennaro, Zerecki, Rabin, and Hugo Kropchak. I have some also other works on asynchronous leakage. Okay, so given we have the keys, signing step is each party individually completing a BLS signature using its own signing key. You just has the message and raise it to your individual signing key. Okay. So everybody will do the same parallel. And we have an untrusted aggregator. And the untrusted aggregator takes its partial signing keys. We'll first locally validate them using this threshold public key, but we're hiding a step here. And then does this public operation take individual partial signatures and raises to by something called lambda I, which are Lagrange coefficients. We can assume that these are some deterministic coefficients that this untrusted aggregator can compute. It just computes the sigma like this. So what happens here? This untrusted aggregator is interpolating the complete polynomial at the constant term, but doing this interpolation in the exponent. So what we get is that since these sigma i's are half of the message raised to SI, once we do this operation, we get half of the message raised to the master secret. It's a constant term of the polynomial. Okay. Good. And to verify, we only need access to the public key. We can, since the standard BLS signature to verify, we can use the standard BLS verification step to verify. Any question? This is much shorter talk if you can interrupt me. Anyway, yeah. But I want you to get most of the talk.
So over here,
Yes.
you're computing summation lambda I SI is
Yes.
exponent,
Yes.
and lambda is are such that they still evaluate to the secret is.
Yeah. Good. So this has really nice properties. This is non-interactive signing. The constant signature, final signature is a constant size, constant group element. The verification cost is also constant, only 2 pairs. And another really nice property is that the signatures are unique. For each method, we have a single signature once we fix the signing key. Okay. And these all properties have led to practical adoption of this key. There are probably many more. I could find these.
By unique, you mean, okay, the second one is unique.
So by unique, I mean once you fix the secret key, for every message there is a unique signature.
Oh, you mean the signing process
The
deterministic?
signing process is deterministic. Yes.
It's just the hash of M to the power secret key.
Yeah.
I see.
So this talk is about proving security of BLS threshold signature, and we want to look at these two different kinds of adversary, which are called static and adaptive adversary. So the definitions are as follows. So a static adversary, we require that this adversary decides who to corrupt before the protocol begins. So this is a restriction we impose on the adversary, and we say we know how to prove the security of this key only for adversary that follows this restricted like this. Okay. Pictorially, so if we have a set of parties, so we need that the adversary decides who to corrupt, and then only then the protocol we can execute the protocol. So these are called static adversary. So this kind of restrictions pretty unnatural, I would say, especially when we are running in the internet like setting. We have this alternative adversary model adapted where there is no restriction on corruption time. Adversary can decide to corrupt anytime it wants. So pictorially, if we have a set of nodes, adversary may start with just corrupting one node and see how the protocol is making progress, and then decide to corrupt one more, so on and so forth. Continue. Okay.
So the secret sharing schemes, do they also have the static versus adaptive corruption?
Yeah. For secret sharing is more like an algorithm, but if you think of a protocol variant, yes, yeah, they do have a static versus adaptive. Yeah. Any question? Yeah. Good. Okay. I need to see all 4 marks. We are only 4. Right. So my take is that adaptive adversary is more natural because adversary can look at the state of how the protocol is making progress and then decide to corrupt. So I do want to say one thing about this YOSO model, that there is this notion of they claim adaptive security in the YOSO model, but I do have some personal complaints. I want to find somebody and then try to understand what they say is correct. So what is this YOSO model? So they say that there will be protocol execution, and in each execution, each party will speak only once. Okay. So it's you only speak once, that's YOSO model. And this say that the protocol will sample a committee of nodes, typically, and then each committee member is supposed to speak once. And they are supposed to delete this data before they speak. And they say if the protocol is like this, then the protocol is adaptively secure.
I don't understand. So what does it mean by erase internal state before speaking?
That's a very good question. I realize this slide is coming slightly out of order. So what happens when you try to prove, whenever you try to prove security of a protocol? Whenever adversary corrupts a party, adversary expects to see the internal state of that party, right? Let's say adversary corrupts your machine, then adversary will expect to see what all things are in your machine. And sometimes if we give extra information to adversary, then it becomes hard to prove those kind of protocols secure. And there is a erasure model where we say, oh, parties can erase data before after every certain interval, and adversary, if the adversary corrupts at any point in time, it won't see anything before the erasure.
So I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but it kind of looked like you were starting out with omission only, like just fail stop cut errors. You had like a red misbehaving person up there.
No, these are, mine is
Assuming everything's completely general.
yeah, it's a
And so
binary.
now we're getting into the real meat of it.
Yeah.
Because things can go wrong, people can lie.
Yes.
You didn't have proofs, you didn't really have checks. When you put the lambdas up there, the lambdas didn't depend on which points you were.
No, please,
interpolating.
okay,
For example.
here I'm assuming, I have to go a lot back, but
That's right. Yeah, lambdas depend usually on interpolation.
on this.
And you only want to interpolate the ones that.
They're not valid, so the untrusted aggregator is validating each partial signatures, and then only after that it's aggregating.
Right.
But that is not the difficulty in proving, because these are just public operation.
Yeah, there probably are some technicalities to throw in there. They're not difficult, but I could reuse a hash from, I could use a signature from some previous round or something like that, and then it would sort of go in, but things would not interpolate correctly. It wouldn't all lie on the null number.
Yeah.
And all the signatures going in,
Mhm.
like H of S1, if you use H of S1 from an hour ago,
Mhm.
would still kind of check on the local signature unless you had something else playing into this. But if it's just a pure mathematical signature,
Yeah,
then they're not going to interpolate. for
Yeah,
example.
right
And
now
it
we're-
looks good, but now the lambdas, you either got to change the lambdas or you have to test them,
yes.
which
So
you can do, but yeah.
The interpolation depends on which subset of signers sign. And in a presentation, I'm assuming that the reader first checks whether each individual partial signatures are valid, only aggregates the valid signatures. Okay. Good. So what's my complaint about this? Also, whatever my complaint is in general about erasure, I would say. So they say that the adversary can corrupt a subset of nodes, but an adversary won't learn the internal state of these nodes because they have already erased those information. And they say this is a very natural model of corruption, but I have some complaints. So, for example, my complaint is nodes may be willingly reveal their state. So let's say adversary puts up a website saying that who rewards those who will reveal their internal state before erasing. The Yoso model doesn't capture this kind of adversary. Or Yoso, or in general, if you assume erasures, so these kind of adversary are not captured. So you're also restricting that these kind of attacks won't happen in the erasure.
So is there a restriction on what can you speak in the protocol? Like, because you're speaking, I can think that while you're speaking it, you can encode this auxiliary information that you're going to publish on this website.
So these kind of protocols typically, let's say they do a committee sampling somehow, and each node will have a proof that they are part of committee. And then they send a message where they'll send some information which is relevant to the protocol along with the proof that they are part of the committee.
Right.
And the adversary in the Yoso model say that the parties will erase all data before they send this message and the proof. So adversary, after seeing the messages, if the adversary corrupts, adversary won't see the internal state. But my complaint is that, well, the most natural model is where these nodes may directly talk to adversary before speaking up in the protocol, give the proof to adversary over a private channel or directly submit to the website, and then reveal the internal state to the adversary.
Sorry, I'm missing what you're saying about give the proof to the adversary and a private channel. There's a slightly different spin on this, which I love this idea. It's great. There's a slightly different spin I'm thinking of. I'm not sure if it's what you're saying.
So my bigger picture is that in many line of work, they call this model as adaptively secure, but I don't fully buy that argument, because I feel that those models do not capture these kind of attacks where nodes don't erase their data and then directly talk to adversary and reveal their internal data to the adversary.
So that's interesting. So just spin on that. So in some sense, I'm just taking devil's advocate for a second,
Yeah,
and that's
so,
fine.
yeah.
So the adversary has a budget, and people would think, oh, the budget is I can only get like 5 players out of the 400 here, and if somebody revealed this an hour ago, then I used one of my budget of those 5, and that's how you kind of circumvent kind of the what you're saying a little bit. And that's okay. I'm not really trying to shoot this down. I just have a different motivation for this, which I think is actually, this is brilliant in that sense. We're here in Scilab, right? So what does Scilab do? You've got like top right Alice or something up in your diagram right there. So Alice comes to Scilab and says, please, audit me. I don't know if my machines are all good or not. And so Alice does a bunch of zero-knowledge proofs and audits on information and calculations that are on her current state. Scilab says, oh, your programs are great. You did the proofs to me, you've done all the right bitwise logical yeses, no, and your hashes are pre-imaged. I got the pre-image mapped to your hash, and then your pieces all signed the right things. Nothing has leaked out to Scilab. So I'm just being an auditor at that point, right? Okay, so next day, there is this trail of information at Scilab about Alice. It doesn't actually include any internal state at all. But the subtle side thing is that it contains records that are binding on Alice. Like she might have actually sent encryptions of her internal state, right? And typically in a subtle proof part, once you're bound with that, you can't erase it. Alice can go ahead and erase it. But that information's sitting somewhere, like in a zero-knowledge proof in Scilab. Adversary can talk to Scilab, find out this record that is presumably zero-knowledge, is presumably all encrypted, it's presumably stuck on a tape somewhere, but it has leaked out in a different side channel, almost on purpose through good practices. So it's almost like you have a great objection here in terms of proper, good, healthy hygiene practices that Alice is going to go get auditors like Scilab to make sure he's doing the right thing all the time. So this is nice. I like this objection. It's really good. Sorry to saw your point in a different way. That's all.
Yeah, so to summarize what Don is saying that, so even if parties may erase their data, they might have somehow leaked some commitment or some function of their data somewhere else. And globally, maybe even after erasing, we might not be able to reveal consistent information to adversary. Right? So overall, what I want to say is that area-based adaptive security is fine, but that doesn't capture all sorts of natural attacks.
Okay, one question?
Yeah.
So you said that erasing internal state before speaking, that is the honest behavior.
Yeah, that's honestly.
But can we say that so for those honest player, they will always like just follow the protocol. So the protocol asks them to erase them. So I erase. For those people like they reveal the internal state maybe because they're incentivized to do so.
Yeah.
We just build it as like corrupted. And because for those decentralized settings or distributed system, they have the buffer for the corrupted party.
So I think there's another way to look at this. So whether the adversary can corrupt only after parties speak or even before parties speak, if a party speaks and they were honest prior to that, then they would have deleted their data. But this Yoso model motivates that adversary doesn't know who will speak, so doesn't know who to corrupt before they speak. I'm saying, well, adversary might not know who to corrupt before they speak, but nodes internally knows whether they are part of the committee or not. They can go and collude with the adversary. I'm not saying the corruption signal should come from external, but it can also probably internally generate, I don't know, somehow they just see the website and then.
So for those Yoso model, is it crucial that an adversary doesn't know who is the next speaker?
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
Okay. So your viewpoint here is maybe from there's an internal adversary will leak the order of the speakers.
Yes.
And this is not captured in the standard Yoso model.
Standard Yoso.
I see.
Yes. So this is a general complaint about erasers using it. So we want to prove adaptive security without relying on erasers. Okay. For BLS signatures, that's the focus. So let's look at why static security for BLS signature. It has to do with security reduction. We will look at the security reduction in a lot more detail, but what is known about the adaptive security? So Bacho and Loss, Julian Loss, and student Renas, they proved adaptive security of Boldyreva. The Boldyreva scheme is the threshold BLS, which is exactly what we wanted to present. But they need to assume this one more discrete law assumption, and also they have to rely on this algebraic group model. And they show that OMDL is necessary for this scheme that I presented. And this I found very, very surprising and very positive. The scheme is so natural, we don't offer any attack, but still we don't know how to prove it's secure.
What's the one more discrete law?
Yeah, that's what you're making a point, that we don't know this assumption, so we should not use it. It's more like an interactive discrete log assumption where I give you k discrete log challenges, but I give you k-1 access to discrete log for it. And you're supposed to solve the kth one.
Okay.
This one more, yeah. Okay, so we know something about from standard assumption. There is a paper by Liber, Joe, and Young to prove the rapid security of non-interactive signature scheme with the DDH, but the signatures are not compatible with BLS signature scheme. And I've shown you that there are many companies that have already adopted BLS. According to the client, there are already thousands of or hundreds of thousands of clients who are running the BLS. Now, if we want adaptive security, working. Okay, so now if we want adaptive security, then we need to go and update every client. So that's what we don't like. So, yeah.
When you say signatures are not compatible, in the sense that you can't thresholdize those?
Not compatible, that they are not BLS signature, they're just a new signature.
Okay.
Scheme. Yeah. Okay. Now BLS verification, if you run the BLS verification step on the signature, those won't work. But we have this kind of a lower bound, this is what we can get. So what we do, we make minor modifications to the Boldyreva scheme. Well, we have to somehow ensure that the final signatures are still compatible with the BLS signature. And then we also have a new prefix. It's both the steps are crucially important to get adaptive security. Okay, so we look at the protocol first, and then we'll look at the security group. What's the protocol? So I'll assume an idealized key generation. So now parties will run a key generation step with an MT, and they output secret keys, which are now coupled. There is this component, there is this R component. Every party will output SIs and RIs. There is public key and there is special functions. So SIs are same as BLS signature. They are Sharing shares of a random secret. Okay. The interesting part is this RIs are sharing shares of 0. So they are evaluation points on a polynomial whose constant terms exactly fits 0. Okay. Public key is due to the same as BLS. I'm changing the structure of public keys. So now I have an additional CRS, the public parameter H. So there are two generators, G and H. The structure public key is either the SI and H to the RI, multiplied together.
G and H are independent.
G and H are independent generators. Okay. These are the changes to the key generation. So I look at the signing. So I have the signing keys, which are tuples now. So now, signing signature, partial signature is similar to Boldyreva's. So we have the Boldyreva the message raised to SI, but we also have an additional random orbital H hat, which has the message and raise it to RI. Okay. Good. So everybody knows, and there's still a single elements deterministic operations. And the trusted aggregator, the combining step is identical to Boldyreva. There's nothing happening new. And the verification step is also identical to Boldyreva. So why this works is because of its precisely this reason. So this is a Lagrange interpolation in the exponent of the constant. This interpolation will happen for both the polynomial. So we get hash of the message raised to S, hash of H of the message raised to R. The constant term of the I polynomial we expected to be 0. So this term goes on it, we get exactly the BLS signature. Why all this? Since we are pretty much doing nothing because we are revealing 3 points to an adversary and one more point is fixed to 0, adversary pretty much knows the entire polynomial. We're kind of not adding anything, but we're doing something very interesting. And you realize that once you get into it.
It's all very locally random.
Yes.
With the arrows in there.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Okay.
Presenter, how much more complicated is checking sigma 2 at this point?
I don't know why I check, I need probably need figure. But let's look at the properties. We reserve all the properties, right? So everything is same, but coming back to the last question, we no longer know how to verify this partial signatures using this like bilinear question. Instead, we have to use sigma controls. And these are expensive. Let's say probably 3 times more expensive than the Boldyreva. Yeah, that's a very good question, and we'll see the concrete numbers later. Any questions?
So by verify partial signature, you means the aggregator want to check whether this partial signature is
It's valid.
well.
Well formed before
And this is easy in the standard BOS.
yes, easy in the sense verify only needs to do. I use this. Verify only needs to do a bilinear pairing operations to verify each of these individually.
But by linear pairing check, you mean just the standard verification.
Yeah, standard verification, standard BLS verification.
Now this trick doesn't work because each RI is not 0. So
Yeah, each RI is not 0, so individual partial signature verification needs to go through this sigma protocol, which are also concretely reasonably efficient. Yeah.
But if the partial key, so the partial key was G raised to SI times H raised to RI.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, if you want, you can just try to work out, try to pair. You can try to check this expression for partial signatures, and with the partial design key, they won't match up.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a product of those will match up. Right?
Yes, the product of those will match up because the final term R is 0.
Yes.
So we are adding randomness and de-randomizing it while executing. Good. So what is the proof technique? So how do we prove security of the signature scheme or security of pretty much any threshold crypto system? I'll just do some quick recap. So let's say we want to break, we want to reduce something to CDH. So security proof, there is a CDH adversary, which will take the CDH tuple as an input, and we'll say our threshold scheme is secure. By saying if an adversary ATH can break the threshold scheme, then we can break the CDH adoption. And how does this typically work? Well, let's consider the threshold signature as an example. So CDH adversary needs to simulate a view of the threshold adversary. And this view will consist of simulating the key generation step, where the adversary will expect to see public keys and threshold public keys of appropriate distribution. Also, there will be we need to simulate the corruption oracle, where the adversary will try to corrupt the party line, and we'll see the secret key or the internal state of the party. We need to simulate that. We also have to simulate the partial signing. Then on this adversary will query a partial signature on a message and then also expect to see sigma pi. So essentially, these are all like to simulate the view of the adversary, because this adversary only breaks threshold signatures, nothing else. We also have to simulate this random multiple queries. And once we do all the simulations, this adversary outputs a forgery. And the CDH adversary will use this forgery along with the transcript that it has seen so far to compute the CDH output. So this is probably seen this in our crypto classes, I would say.
So during the interactions, the CDH adversary did not use its inputs to simulate anything.
Well, it will, otherwise it won't work out. There's just one slide ahead. But let me just say that for adaptive adversary, this simulating this corruption oracle is such a case particular technique. That to do with revealing internal state. And why that is tricky? will show up here. It will also answer your question. How this concretely this existing proof techniques work. CDH adversary will get the CDH topology, and somehow it will create a polynomial S, where the constant term is this term to A. CDH adversary doesn't know this entire polynomial. It cannot know this entire polynomial, because if it knows the entire polynomial, then it can evaluate this polynomial at constant term, get A and take the CDH right away without any. It doesn't know. Okay, but given this polynomial, the secret key is S of 0, which is A, and the ideal signing key will be S evaluated by, because these are Shamir shapes. Okay, then this the CDH adversary will naturally the public key to the in the special public keys. It should be S of I evaluated. Public keys are those, right? Special public keys. And this doing one for nothing.
So how to compute SI?
Yes, that's very good. So that's why you need to rely on this static assumption. So what happens is special adversary will first send the corrupt set of corrupt nodes. The CDH adversary will first sample S of I for those indices and interpolate the special public keys in the exponent. You're trying to write it. Do you want me to write or is it good enough?
Yeah, let's know.
Okay. Anyone else wants to go right? No? Good. I'll
It doesn't hurt if you do.
okay, I'll write. Okay. So what?
Depends on your timing, yeah.
Yeah, I've been managing. We have the threshold adversary, and then we have CDH. How this reduction works, the threshold adversary, because the first step, the threshold adversary will specify a corrupt set. Without loss of generality, let's assume these are first T nodes. Then the CDH adversary will sample S of 1, S of 2, S of T. These are uniformly random, it will sample. And then interpolate the polynomial using these as evaluation points. It won't sample the, when we think of polynomials, we think of first sampling, let's say, coefficients and then comparing the polynomials. But CDH will do this step in reverse. First, we'll sample P evaluation points. Okay. And then there's one evaluation point that it knows in the exponent, which is of 0. The threshold adversary will send the signing keys of the corrupt parties because it knows the signing keys. For example, the CDH adversary sampled it locally. But for the public keys, it will interpolate things in the exponent. Okay.
Is this for static?
Yeah, this is for static. It's very crucial. To be able to do this simulation, it's very crucial that CDH knows the set of the parties because it needs to sample those evaluation points as the first step of the protocol. And also, I'm presenting this first time, so I'm also learning where people are confused. I need to modify it appropriately. It's very good feedback. Okay. So there's one step in the simulation where CDH adversary will program the random variable somehow. And finally, let's say the threshold adversary outputs a forgery. And this forgery has to be a valid forgery, right? Otherwise, the threshold adversary did not win. A valid forgery will satisfy the BLS verifications check. And only then it's a valid forgery. And this star, let's say star is the message which the threshold adversary is trying to forge. This is a valid adversary. By write everything out, public key to the link. When the CDH adversary program that numerical star to be 0 to B. This implies that the sigma, the forgery that the threshold adversary outputs is the CDH solution. Because I can take A and B and put it in the exponent. We get the same AB sigma. Only then the verification check will be successful. Okay. Don't try to do the algebra, because in this slide you might be able to do, but next slide you cannot. You have to trust me on that algebra, okay? But this is how it goes. Okay. So the problem here is that adversary CDH can reveal at most 3 evaluation points on the polynomials. Because it can sample those and then but it also needs to commit to all evaluation points in the exponent A prime. Yes.
I have a question that can adversary ask the oracle to sign multiple messages?
Yes, it can. So we need to be able to simulate the signing queries as well, yes.
So here means for any message M star you will give the or just choose one to give.
Okay, so yeah, so
G2.
adversary threshold can ask for many signing queries.
Yeah.
CDH adversary will pick one message at random and hope that that will be the message the threshold adversary will forward. Everywhere else it will do something else.
Okay.
Can't you somehow embed this in everything? Like set it to G raised to B plus some random value R, and then you know R, you can subtract it out later on to adapt the response for CDH.
So even if you can do that, it will only save you security reduction factor
Okay.
guess problem, but it won't give you adaptive adversary. But
Right.
my guess you won't be able to do it because if you do that, all the sigmas will be of this form G to the AB times R. You can cancel out R and then you can compute CDH right away. Yeah. Well, I can go into the details later, but yeah, it won't help adaptive
Right,
security.
yeah.
So what's our proof technique? This is also another important slide. Is we do the same first step, but here we embed the trapdoor as part of the public parameter. CRS. We have this additional public parameter page. Okay. Good. So this lets us the flexibility that ACDH can now sample both of these polynomials locally at time S and R. Okay. That means it can evaluate, it can reveal any evaluation point of S and R, the way it chooses. And we need to do one more thing. Is that the CDH adversary takes an R polynomial where the constant term is non-zero. Okay. And that's why we call it a great public key, because the public key will have G to the H to the R for a non-zero R. Now we do the rest of the step similar. So adversary outputs a forgery. And this needs to be a valid forgery. But we need to be able to output the CDH from here. So why can we do this? If I write the public key to which is the S, H to the R, and this is nothing but the A times R. I get A, which I wanted on one term, and then I get B, which I have. And if R is 0, then I can no longer solve. So this will imply that the AB is this complicated looking, finely complicated looking term. So R needs to be non-zero so that we can complete it, because otherwise this is not. So that's what we call this rig from this. Okay.
I have a little problem in pairing.
Yes.
Is the input and the output of the bilingual map in the same group?
No, that's a very good question. So this whole, whenever I write the Z, this is the target profile. And what I'm showing here is just the relations. So the CDH adversary will compute the CDH solution only using source group element. Sigma is the source group element, G is the source group element. These are exponents, the field. I'm just showing that if I compute this will be exactly 0 to the AB.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is good. But there is one problem that we need to ensure that this adversary cannot detect that this part of the rigged game. Right? Otherwise, the special adversary is I don't break anything in the rigged game, I only break in real security, real true signature. And one crucial step where this threshold adversary will be able to detect is simulating the, okay, this is repeating. is simulating the sign inquiries. Simulating the sign inquiries become really tricky with the rigged game. I'll show an example why. Okay, we do this steps similar. Let's say how we simulate for a kth message, program the random variable on some 0 to x k in form of some random variable and compute sigma k as same as BLS standard BLS signature. Okay, now I'm just showing what's the problem with this. If I just keep the partial signing same as BLS. So since this will be a valid signature, it needs to satisfy the BLS expression, right? And if I write this out, I have a public key of this s plus a times r from here. And if you solve for this, only value that satisfies the expression will be r equal to 0. So if we have a rigged public key, then we don't know how to simulate signing queries for other messages. Because this expression will not satisfy. And the difficult part is these are information theoretic checks. Pairings are doing information theoretic linear equation checks. Quantity equation checks. So we don't know how to play with it anymore.
So you have to play that maybe for honest people and cheating into the cheating players, inconsistencies into one subgroup of players, or
Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but we take a slightly different approach. Is you have seen this in Project Forgot, is we use 2 random variables. Okay, so what we do? So now we have 2 random variables to sign a message. The signature is we have hash of message raised to s and hash of message raised to r. Okay, and now I get 1 more degrees of freedom. If I try to solve for this, I get if I program the random variables in a correlated way. If I set xk in form of random and set yk to be a times xk, then this BLS verification will be successful. What I'm doing is I have 2 random variables. In the rigged game, the CDH adversary will program the random variables in a correlated way. And in the real game, the random variables will be informed random values. But we need to ensure that this adversary cannot identify the things are cannot identify the programmer random variables programmed in a correlated way. And that's where we use the decisional field knowledge. Okay.
So is it still a random oracle if the 2 are correlated? Like, that seems counterintuitive.
So we're programming the random variables in a correlated way, lazy way.
Okay.
So I'm using this programmable random variable one. Okay. But well, we just don't know how to do this. We have talked like so much techniques to you, but we don't know how to do this. So I tried hard, don't know how to do this, but what we know is this. We need to use 2 polynomials additional, where this we have 2 additional generators, and both of these are shells of 0. This is what we exactly how to prove. So we don't know if we add 1 additional random polynomial, we don't know how to prove it's secure. But if we add 2, we will know how to prove it's secure. I'll and also the update the threshold form is appropriate. The signing step doesn't change. In signing step, here we're using 2 additional polynomials. We don't use 2 additional random variables. The total number of random variables still remains 2. Total number of polynomials is 3, but I want to talk about the proof. Look at the proof. Okay, this gives me a good inflection point to stop. Otherwise, I can talk about fighting more. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. No, good.
Yeah, there's a question on Zoom chat.
Okay.
They're asking what are A1, A2? I think that was a
There was a
typo.
typo. It should have been S of S evaluated 1, S evaluated 2. Okay. So, yeah, what else do we do in the paper is I've described everything with the trusted key generation. We can use a distributed key generation. What is a DKG? It's just an MPC protocol where this MPC protocol outputs, the parties output shares of a random secret that nobody knows. And this DKG also offers public key. If we use DKG instead of key generation, well, this doesn't change much. And so we just, if the DKG outputs SIIs of the structure, then nothing changes in protocol too much. And we show how to modify this one of the DKG protocol from the GDPR paper to get this structured key that one constant term is 0 along with some. This is minor modification. But adaptive security proof is DKG is slightly trickier. We need a little bit more idea, is because the CDH adversary now needs to simulate a rigged DKG. Because the CDH adversary knows how to break CDH only if the keys are rigged. So we need DKG with this rigged property. And we show we can do that using the single inconsistent party idea, that there is one party for which we don't know how to reveal the internal state to the adversary, and we hope that adversary doesn't come that party. The protocol doesn't rely on any ranges or anything. In the protocol, everybody is in the proof there is one party. And adversary will grab this SIP with a very low probability. And okay, let's just look at the DKG is just I'm saying we have that if you want. I don't expect you to get anything, but let's look at some of the valuation numbers. So we implement Boldyreva with the pairing-based partial signature verification, but we can also implement Boldyreva with Sigma protocol-based partial verification, and we implement ours with Sigma protocol, and these are the numbers. The signing guide of Boldyreva with the pairing base are much faster. We are about 4 times more expensive than Boldyreva. Sigma protocols are generally fast to verify than binary pairing checks. Boldyreva 2 has faster partial signature verification time. Ours is still again all expensive, but these all costs are due to this Sigma protocol. And this is the Sigma protocol becomes expensive because we have 2 additional polynomials. If I can reduce to a total of 2 polynomials instead of total of 3, I'm expecting these numbers will go a bit more down. Yeah, but I just don't know how to work with 2 polynomials.
Questions?
Yeah.
So Boldyreva 1, if I want to verify a partial signature, I only need to just do the normal verification.
Normal pairing.
But for the type 2, they need to run a Sigma protocol.
Yeah, they need to run.
Then how come the verification time, the type 2 is faster than type 1?
Because pairing operations, so this is a non-interactive Sigma protocol which we actually.
Okay.
The pairing operations are about a lot more expensive, like about 20x more expensive than doing group operations. Sigma protocol is just a group operations, group explanations, and we don't do pair. Pairings are more expensive, that's why this is expensive.
I see.
So if you have a protocol where you can do both and you care about efficiency, probably Sigma protocol might be faster if you care about compute efficiency, but this will increase partial signature size. I know, I feel this is the folklore. I have been using these two interchangeably for like I think pairing based and Sigma protocol, but yeah, I don't know whether that's a common knowledge that there's a trade-off between compute and bandwidth.
And why is the aggregation time lower for second one?
Aggregation is basically verifying individually.
Oh, you're accounting for verification.
Yeah. The Lagrange function. So what summary we get adaptive security with BLS without any erasure, simple and efficient. We're trying to prepare a NIST 2.1 candidate because they ask for adaptive security. And then people complain that it's hard. But I think the proof technique I have shown that with some algorithmic idea, we can extend it to many other things. So we have some ideas on how to extend it to threshold encryption. Also have some ideas how to extend it to Schnorr. But Schnorr is so delicate. I think I have the fourth idea that I'm convinced works. But I don't know. I haven't written the complete proof yet. But unless we write it, I don't know that will harm the Schnorr. But certainly I'm kind of certain from these books. But you cannot only extend the proof. You need also have to modify like modifications to the schema to make the appropriate proofs. That's all I had. Thank you for listening to the first version of the talk. There are some things that I definitely do better. Yeah.
One detour question. So for that NISIC, like standardizations, except encryption and signature, what do they also want?
Is it the signal protocols?
No, the NISIC, like they call for threshold in cryptography.